chocolate cake.
We're getting screwed, man. Every time we turn around, we're getting screwed. Oh, the revolution's going to be through podcasting for sure. That's the only way we talk. It's the little guys that take the brunt of everything. It's got to stop. Peasants, man. We're just peasants. Every one of us. You watch those old movies, you see the peasants in the background with the kings and queens walking around. We're those people. We're those people. Good morning, peasants. Welcome to another episode of Liberty Lounge. I guess it's not morning, is it? It's evening. It's evening everywhere. It's evening
You're just used to opening the podcast like that.
Yeah,
that's all.
Good morning. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm on autopilot. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Let's see. We give people a couple minutes to climb in. A lot of times people don't have this on their ready to go thing. We need people to be ready to go. Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, we do Liberty Lounge almost every week. We're not going to be doing Liberty Lounge next week because we're going to be traveling back from Spokane. Lisa, what are we doing in Spokane?
We are delivering our launch of our in-person 1776 Live. Started as an event. We used to say in the flesh, but that just sounds so weird. We would try not to say person, but we're over all of that now. It's our launching the new Stop Starting Over tour, which is going to go all around the country. And if you're anywhere near Spokane, or even if you're not, I'm flying. So you can fly too.
That's right.
The event is going to have two special guests, one of which we hosted on Liberty Lounge last week, Tom Phillips. Great last name. He is going to be talking about our new Bitcoin program, which if you didn't catch that episode of Liberty Lounge, please watch it. It is fabulous.
I got great feedback from people.
Same.
Good.
Yeah.
It was good.
I'm pumped up about it. I went and got my cold storage delivered.
I got mine here too. It's still in the box.
Yeah, yours is in the box. Mine is still in the bag.
Did you get the gold fleck one? Which one did you get?
Purple.
Purple. Okay, whatever. Purple. That was my second choice, but then I was like, oh, gold sounds nice.
I got purple because Liam and Atlee love purple, and because don't tell Liam. I need Liam to get involved with doing this because it's one less thing I have to do. So I got that, and
The Bitcoin Standard. What a good book! That was a great book.
I don't know if we're doing book club or if Tom's going to do it in class. I don't know, but he said to get it. You said to get it, so I did. And then I also got. I feel like this is a game.
Ooh, what is that?
I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's the kit to make the, what is it? The keys.
Okay.
I'm going to open it now. Yeah, I don't know.
To say you don't need a kit. The wallet makes the keys, I'm
not sure. I thought you told me to get this. You know, Lisa Redo, she could have picked the wrong thing. And I haven't opened it yet. So we're having, what does everybody call it? An opening video? An unboxing? Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, let's see. What is it? It's like, did you accidentally get a node? What did you get there? Joy's Ends?
Yeah, it's a way to do your
your codes, your keys. Yes, got it. Okay. Yeah. Hide that. You don't want people to know that you have that now. I don't know what they're looking for. Oh, Pray the Rosary Daily. Glad you made it. Hi, Taylor and Lisa. Thank you so much. Yeah, Lisa Redo. Sometimes you got to do it twice.
I feel like it's a medieval quest game.
Yeah. Okay, I'm putting into the chats if anybody wants to join us live on camera. You just click on that. Oh, that's not the link. Don't follow that link, although it is a good link. Not the one you're looking for. You're looking for this link right here. Let me grab it real quick. if you guys want to join us live on Rumble, turn your camera on and your audio on. You can join us. Love to chat. Oh, very cool. You got some swag with it. That's kind of fun. I wonder if I can. I don't think I can delete that. No. Well, oh well.
I mean,
Well,
honestly, I went from thinking, Bitcoin evil, Chi-Com, and being kind of disinterested to all in. And that's
I
all
know
due to you and Tom
it's amazing.
enlightening me.
It really was amazing. I was just this afternoon, I was sitting with a friend and I was talking to him about it. And he's like, well, isn't it, it's all the myths, right? All the things. It's like, no, man. I'm like, that's not what it is at all. It was really interesting. But, well,
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I have a little bit of a topic I wanted to cover today. And a
Yay.
couple videos I wanted to watch. So, Pray the Rosary Daily. What's the difference between Rumble Wallet and River? Rumble Wallet is a wallet, and River is also not really a wallet per se. It's a custodian. They hold the Bitcoin, so they have the keys to the Bitcoin, and it's like a bank account. You can do bill pay through it. They have a savings account side where you can earn interest in Bitcoin. Obviously, you can transfer and stuff, but it's a custodian, and it's that type of custodian that would you use if you ever had to verify your Bitcoin. Say you were getting a mortgage. Now you can use mortgage as your reserve assets. You would put it into a custodian like that. So it's like an official. It's like having stocks at, Lesh or Charles Schwab instead of stocks in your filing cabinet. That's the difference. You could hold the stocks yourself, or you can have Charles Schwab hold them for you, and they verify the ownership. So that's kind of the rough difference. Rumble Wallet is a wallet where you control the keys, but you don't control the hardware. So Tom in the class is going to go over all those differences and how you really ultimately, when you're talking about your generational wealth, you want to have it in a cold storage wallet with your own keys and your own hardware. And technically, the Bitcoin are not in the wallet. They're on the blockchain, and your passphrases are what access it. So the passphrases are created by that cold storage wallet, and that's how you can authorize movement of the Bitcoin and stuff like that. Pony Boy, so can you go buy Bitcoin from River? I'm new to all of this. Yes, you can. You absolutely can buy Bitcoin from River. Let's see. I probably have a referral link I can drop in there. Unless Lisa.
Here, I'm doing it.
All right, Lisa's going to drop a referral link into the chat. So if you want to open a River account, what's nice about River is they have all the Bitcoin. So they have a 1-to-1 ratio, which means they don't hypothecate it. They don't sell you 10 Bitcoin when they only have one. They have all the Bitcoin. It's all verified all the time. So they're right now, as far as Tom's concerned, and we have to trust Tom on this one, but he kind of knows what he's doing. River is the premier public custodian if you're going to hold it there. But yes, you can buy Bitcoin there. I don't know what the fees are compared to everywhere else, but the fees don't even bug me. Like, we've made significant investments in Bitcoin, and the fees are like negligible.
I want to share that getting involved with any tech companies, it tends to be all kinds of promises on the front end, and then you start using them and you can't get anybody on the phone. You can't get anybody to answer you. And I just want to share that they have been incredibly responsive.
I'm going to beat you to it, Lisa. I'm ready to hit enter.
What are you going to do?
I put the River link. I already had it open. So
I put it in there too.
Did you? It hasn't popped up.
Well, that's annoying.
Anyways, if you want to Rumble, that's there. So, or River link, that's there for you.
That's so weird. Okay, but great that you did that.
Yep.
But it's a great company, and other than whatever we get recognized with our affiliate link, we don't get percentage or anything from your investment.
It's like a $5 referral link. It's unless you're buying like Buku, and then we get like up to $100. So woohoo! But anyways, it's really cool. I quite like it. I couldn't be more happy with River. Its functionality and its ability to do bill pay is pretty cool. So, okay, I did have something planned for today. So I wanted to take a listen to this. There's a couple different clips, and this all comes from Clarence Thomas. This last week, Clarence Thomas gave a speech. I think he was down at Texas A&M or Texas Longhorns, whatever college he was at. And he gave this speech, and he talks about progressivism, right? There is a total misunderstanding of politics. And this is something I've seen for years and years and years, is this massive misunderstanding with politics. So he talks about how progressivism, and Woodrow Wilson, our president, who was a progressive, he was praising people like Marx and Lenin and some of these people that eventually ushered in the age of communism. And we saw millions of people die. And he gave a speech, and then he sat down for Q&A. And I want to play a couple of these clips. So let's start with this one.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights. The century of progressivism did not go well. The European system that Wilson and the progressives scolded Americans for not adopting, which he called nearly perfect, led to the governments that caused the most awful century that the world has ever seen. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and Mao all were intertwined with the rise of progressivism, and all were opposed to the natural rights on which our Declaration are based.
I love that, how he just lays it out. Like, progressivism is diametrically opposed from the Declaration of Independence and about where we get our rights. And for those of you that have been around 1776 for a while, you might remember in the early Ignite presentations, we played a clip with Senator Kane being like, I think it's crazy when people think their rights come from God. That's what Iranians think. Our rights come from government. And Ted Cruz jumped in. He's like, are you nuts? Declaration of Independence, our rights come from God. That's what makes us completely different from them. One of the books I really love is Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. And it's interesting. I've read it twice, cover to cover. I've listened through it as well. And it's interesting to me because different people pull different things out of that book. And there's another book that she wrote prior to Atlas Shrugged called The Fountainhead. And in those two books, both, one of the things that stood out really clear to me is you have independence and you have collectivism, right? You've got these two completely different mindsets. The collectivists end up being cannibalistic. They want you to sacrifice of your individual self on behalf of the collective, whether you call it the people, whether you call it your comrades, whether you call it members of your church. Anytime the collective overwhelms the rights and the privileges of the individual, it's collectivism. And in our modern political structure, you see it show up in fascism. You see it show up in communism. You see it show up in liberalism, as it's been described. You see it show up in, did I already say socialism? Right? And even in our modern American capitalism, it's very socialistic, right? It's corporatism. Any of the tisms usually are collectivists of one frame or another. And the other thing about the last century, right? What good did Mao do? What good did Stalin do? How about Hitler? How'd they do? Every single one of those ultimately went on a complete tear through their countries, destroying lives, destroying families, destroying independence, destroying businesses, and ultimately all of them led to genocide. And you could even make that same case here in America, where we do have in our Constitution, right, which was never undone, we have individual rights. But look at what the progressives did with the eugenics movement, with Planned Parenthood, with the Tuskegee experiment. I mean, you can go on and on and on, where they just don't care about the individual. It's all about the collective. It's all about the country. And Ayn Rand calls that weaponization of your virtue. When you don't know who you're giving your energy, time, etc. to, and you're just giving it to the ether, you're really giving it to the people who are using that banner to have control. So I love that Clarence Thomas brought that up. What do you think about that?
I love it. I think I mean, I love that he brought it up. I love that you're bringing it to our attention, and I feel it's profound. This afternoon, I met with a group of people who I've been a part of this group, this community, for a very long time before COVID. And it's the first time I've ever gone to a meeting in person. And there was a gentleman, probably a little bit older than I, with his wife, who's definitely South American from one of the countries that she didn't share where. And people were introducing themselves to me because I was the newest one in the group. And he looks into my eyes and he says, I want to tell you about me. And he tears up. And he says, I came here at a very young age because I wanted to be one of you. From Romania, we escaped. And I happen to have, I'm a mutt, so, but I am part Romanian, part Austrian, and then English. And so I looked at him and I said, I'm part Romanian. That's fascinating. And he was so emotional talking about his love for our country. And, you know, he's probably well into his 70s. And it was so beautiful that we have that fabric in our citizenry that may love this country and comprehend it better than some of us who didn't escape to come to the freedom of America. So it's beautiful that what you're pointing to today is in front and center. And it's not the Constitution, it's the Declaration of Independence. That is our sovereignty. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got this document that our good friend Gary has given to me, and I just love it so much. And I want to read a little portion out of it, and then I want to play another clip from Clarence Thomas. So in this document, a couple pages in, and it's a long document, it's 80 pages, and what it's designed to do is help us to have a political remodel, to actually remodel the political system at the county level, at the PCO level, because the way the party is set up, the Republican Party specifically, it's a top-down model, but there's so much malaise and apathy at the local level that it ends up being like a stakeholder interest where the state players kind of control everything, and there's just not enough locals that show up. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the number one reason is because the people aren't coming. They're not showing up. And I've talked about this on the podcast, right? Here we are at the party endorsing candidates. That's the selection committee. When we say that our politicians are not elected, they're selected, you're right. Because by the time you get to the ballot, it's a coin toss, either left or right, red or blue. And the selection committee that picks the two people is the Republican and Democrat party. So I'm a big advocate that you got to go get involved. It doesn't matter how dysfunctional your county, party is. It can't function without you, and it can't function without other neighbors and PCOs. So he's got a section in here called the conservative contradiction. So I want to read this, a section of this, and then I want to go watch another Clarence Thomas videos. The conservative contradiction. Among conservatives, I still see far more common sense, realism, and rational thought than I do among most political circles. I identify as a conservative because I believe the core principles of conservatism, personal responsibility, ordered liberty, common sense, and respect for reality remain fundamentally sound. So even when the party is dysfunctional, when you go talk to the members, they're functional, like they get it, right? But even within conservative circles, I see absurdities. Election after election, conservatives continue voting for Republican candidates they already know will not truly fight for conservative principles. Too often, they are elected for one reason only, because they're not Democrats. Then, when they betray their base, conservatives are disappointed, but rarely shocked. And even more rarely, do they hold those politicians accountable in any lasting way? This is a major problem. Conservatives today are living under a political reality in which liberal and socialist ideologies have become so institutionally dominant that they are now advanced with open confidence and very little fear of meaningful resistance. Laws are passed not simply because they are believed to be beneficial, but often because they serve as demonstrations of power, signals that say, you cannot stop us and you are irrelevant. And too often, they are right. Each year, more freedoms erode, government expands further into private life, more troubling laws are enacted, and when conservatives do secure a win, which they are increasingly rare, those victories are often short-lived. They are overturned by courts, undermined by bureaucrats, or reversed by other political actors before they can have a lasting impact. Every step forward, we seem to take two steps back. What may be most discouraging of us all is that many of the loudest conservative voices no longer seem interested in changing the culture or building a winning movement. Too many have settled into the role of commentator, complainer, heckler. They criticize, they react, they vent, they do not lead. I see far less strategy than I do frustration, far less action than I do outrage, far fewer calls to build, and far more content designed far more content designed simply to complain. This is something I see in the podcast space, right? As a podcaster myself, put that little hat on. This is my damn hat from the Hoover Dam. I put my podcast hat on and I look out at who's my competition. There's so much rage. I see conservatives that have great values, great principles, great analysis, but they're feeding into the system. They have no solutions. Even the most diehard conservatives are like, we're going to lose the midterms because my pet issue isn't being resolved, perfectly. Or, if this bill doesn't get passed, we're going to lose everything. There's like a marketplace for disenfranchisement. There's a Netflix show called Black Mirror, and there's a one of the episodes. It's this dystopian world where everybody's riding on bikes to generate electricity, and they have a TV screen, and they earn credits of energy so they can have all their electronics and stuff. And this one guy tries to break the system and kind of wake people up. And at the end, he gets co-opted and he's doing a show. It totally reminds me of like Alex Jones. Rage! And then the show goes off and he earns his money and he goes right back into the system where he just keeps playing their game and feeding into it, right? But when the show's on, everybody rides back. Yeah, this system sucks. We all have to ride our bikes. And as soon as the show closes, they're right back into it. They co-opted him. And I see that all the time. So many black pillars, doomers, they make a whole living, make tons of money just being full of rage with no solutions. No solutions. No, go to your county. No, get involved. No, don't forget to vote. Just throw in the bag. We're going to lose the midterms. Republicans aren't going to vote. It's like this just complete give up attitude. And listen, I understand the deck stacked against us. I live in Washington State. Universal mail-in ballots, Dominion voting machines. There was a big thing our state GOP chair put up today. All these ballots that showed up in a box next to a dumpster somewhere. And then they go through the ballots. These are unopened ballots, but yet this voter voted. This voter voted. It's like, yes, I understand the deck stacked against us, but what are you going to do about it? If you don't do anything about it, who else is going to do anything about it? Rockin' Robin says hi, and she also says COVID. Yep. Ponyboy said glad he gave that speech at the most liberal city in Texas, Austin U of Texas. I know. And the crazy thing is, when you go talk to people, right? A lot of people get sucked into the liberal side of things because it's less restrictive, or they get caught up in the, I want to sacrifice for me to give to others. But really, when people say that, they're on the take. They're the ones that want to get the rich people to sacrifice so they can take it. But if I had some, I'd give, right? That's their mentality. And it's broken. I'm glad he went right into the heart of progressive Texas, right in Austin, and gave that speech. Robin also said, I went years ago, and it was more like a social club. The Republican Party, yeah, but it was years ago, right? It is a social club at the end of the day. It's a political association. But that's where the selection committee happens. That's where you get to steer politicians and offer your support. So I want people to go. All right, listen to this next clip here from Clarence Thomas, unless you have something to add real quick. You good?
Yeah, keep going.
So this is the next clip from Clarence Thomas. This was when he did the Q&A session.
As public trust in government continues to decline across multiple institutions, including the courts, many Americans now see the loss of confidence as a hill the government must climb to restore credibility. Why do you think public trust has eroded? Which concerns do you think are legitimate? And how do you suggest that we as a people could rebuild confidence in government, including the judiciary?
Oh, I think by learning more about it, by understanding it, and by not being controlled by people who have an interest in constantly pounding away because they don't agree or they want something else. It's like they're throwing temper tantrums. I think that unless people, and I meant what I said, I do not. It took the speech even, it takes a lot of work for me because I want to say what I actually think. And I think if we don't stand up and take ownership of our country and take responsible for it, we are slowly letting others control how we think and what we think. I think the beauty of going to school is that you learn how to think for yourselves. You develop the discipline to think things through. And if you think it's losing confidence, then you get up and you participate. You don't sit on the sidelines. You think that the state is being run inconsistent with how you feel, then you get up and you participate. You prepare yourself. If you think that the medical profession is not right, well, you become a doctor or be a medical person, and you deal with that. I think we need to take ownership of our country. It's our country. It is not on automatic pilot. People know more about how to program their cell phone than they know about their participating in their government. They read more. I don't know who reads all these notices when you have to update your stuff, but they probably do. I mean, the Constitution is that thick. You could sit down over a cup of coffee and read the entire thing. How many people have read it? How many people know why those provisions are there? I mean, I think each of us, this again, try to make the point, is government by consent. That means we take ownership. It's our consent. And it's our country. And the only way, I was asking a student at lunch today, and I'll repeat it. If you let someone use your car and you never check on it, whether they changed the oil, they had it serviced, you just let them take it to East Texas and use it, and you get it back, what condition do you think it would be in? It wouldn't let that, and that's what we're doing to our country. And if you want to think of people, how much they protect their cell phones. Why don't we protect our country that way? It's ours. And if you want it to have trust, if you correct what you think is wrong, then get up and do it. Learn more about it. I was at a group of high school students visited me some years ago, probably, 30 years ago. It's hard to say that. I'm hanging around a long time. But 30 years ago, and the teacher in front of the students said, "How many members of the court are there?" Well, she had a brochure in her hand that had 9 members. I mean, how hard is it to count to 9? So I think it's our country. We should take ownership of it, learn more about it, participate. If you don't like the way it runs, you run. If you don't like the way something is done, you get in there and you do it the way you think it ought to be done. Or if you think that you want to check to see whether trust is declining, you go and do it yourself. Don't listen to the networks or somebody on social media. Go check for yourselves. So I think, again, I repeat what I said there. It's our country. It's governed by our consent. Let us act like that and take ownership of it.
I love what he said there. It's governed by our consent. And that's something I talk about all the time, right? We really do volunteer into this thing. We consent to let it happen. If we didn't consent, you would show up. But how many people complain, whine, cry, get all upset, but then don't show up? Well, that's called acquiescence. You have consented. You've consented. You've consented to all the nonsense that we all see all the time, and we just don't do anything about it. So continuing on with my friend Gary's writing here, he says, enough is enough. At some point, we have to say enough is enough. If the opposition has become this arrogant, this overconfident, and this brazen, then perhaps this is precisely the moment conservatives should stop playing defense and start going on offense. Their arrogance will be their downfall. We just need to start successfully challenging them. I want conservatives to become the side that is advancing, not retreating. I want common sense to be politically powerful again. I want the absurdities to stop. And for me, that is not just a slogan. Over the last 15 years, I've spent time researching these issues, interviewing both grassroots conservatives and political leaders, and examining the institutions, systems, and behaviors that shape our political world. From that work, I believe I have identified a path forward, a strategy that could allow conservatives not merely to survive politically, but to begin winning in a meaningful and sustained way. Before laying out that strategy, I want to make a few promises about the proposal I'm about to present. If you want a copy of this proposal, you need to get a hold of me in any of the many ways you can, and I'd be happy to send it to you. And this entire document is the blueprint. And I am fully confident that it is the blueprint that you can use to take your county back. And if everybody takes their county back, then you will by default have taken the state back. And if we all take our states back, the federal government is within our grasp, right? Because that's the way our system is designed to work. And that's what they buck against. The collectivists, the socialists, the progressives, the communists, they want you apathetic as to what your real power is. So here are the promises. I promise that my proposals, one, will not require conservatives to compromise their principles. Too many conservative leaders have accepted the idea that the liberal and socialist concepts are simply more popular and therefore must be accommodated or partially adopted. I reject that premise entirely. I do not believe conservative ideas are inherently unpopular. I believe they have been poorly communicated, poorly organized, and poorly defended. Presented properly, conservative principles can resonate with a large and receptive audience. Two, I will not require the creation of a third party except as a last resort. The Republican Party has serious flaws, and many of them are structural. But abandoning the party entirely would mean walking away from decades of infrastructure, relationships, and political capital that can still be used if properly redirected. My goal is not to start over from scratch. It is to transform what already exists into something that can actually function as an effective vehicle for conservative success. Only if the leadership of the Republican Party can somehow stop our movement will we consider starting a new party. But that is a last resort, not our first or second. I always think third parties are the distraction, right? When you go try to start a third party, it takes you away from the two parties that have de facto control. It's so much easier to remodel one of the existing parties than to go out and start a completely third party, right? What you'll end up doing is you'll end up giving elections. I saw this happen in the primary in Missouri. You had three really good candidates for governor. Two of them had no daylight between them on their principles. Both of them were deport everybody, support Trump, stop China from buying farmland. You know, it was like these guys had no daylight between them. And then the third candidate was a rhino. He was a rhino. Governor Mike Kehoe, he's a rhino. And what happened was the Governor Mike Kehoe, who's now governor, he got, if I pretty sure I got these percentages close, it was like 31.6% of the vote. The second place guy got like 30.6% of the vote, and the fourth place guy got like 30.1% of the vote. So you had 60% of the vote were totally MAGA, totally wanted no more farmland for China, mass deportations, you know, all the things that we want on our wish list. But because they stayed in the race till the end and all ended up on the ballot, it was 60% for those policies, 30% for the rhino, and the 30% rhino won by a tiny percentage majority because the vote was split. That's what happens when you run a third party. You give it to the most moderate person instead of the people that actually have our wish list. Three, I will not depend on politicians or party leadership to produce results. This is where you have to get involved. We relied on them long enough. We have trusted them long enough. We have been disappointed enough not times to know better. Real change will not come from waiting for better politicians. It will come from ordinary conservatives deciding to take responsibility for the future of the movement themselves. My proposals are built around empowering the members, not the leadership, and certainly not the political class. If enough people understand and apply the principles that he presents in this document, conservatives can build something far more effective than anything we are currently doing. More importantly, we can begin laying a foundation for a better society, one rooted in stronger institutions, better governance, and sounder values. Why we are losing. And this is what Clarence Thomas was addressing in his speech. But before discussing how we win, we first need to understand why we are losing. Because we are not losing for reasons many people have been told. We are often told conservatives are losing because liberals are too entrenched in media, academia, and government. Billionaires and major donors are outspending the right. Conservatives do not engage in disruptive media-generating activism the way the left does, or that voters, especially young ones, simply prefer liberal ideas. There is some truth in those explanations, but they are not the root cause. The real reasons we are losing are much more serious. We are fighting the wrong way. We are fighting the wrong enemy. We are following the wrong leaders, and we are fighting for the wrong reasons, and too often we are fighting against ourselves. When you look at it honestly, it is remarkable that conservatives win anything at all. If we want different results, we cannot keep using the same methods. We cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. A necessary warning. When I tell a joke when speaking to conservative audiences. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of what? And people usually say insanity. And I respond, no, it's conservatism. It gets a laugh, but there is truth in it. Conservatives by nature are cautious about change. That is not always a weakness. In many ways, it is one of our strengths. Conservatives value continuity, order, tested principles, and the preservation is what is good and worth keeping. But conservatism is also supposed to be rooted in common sense and rational judgment. That means that when evidence clearly shows something is not working, we should be willing to change our methods even if we do not change our principles. That is exactly what I'm asking for here. What I'm not proposing is not a minor adjustment. It is not a cosmetic rebranding. It is not a slight change in messaging. It is a fundamental rethinking of how conservatives organize, communicate, lead, and fight. Not for the sake of novelty, but because the evidence increasingly suggests that our current approach is failing. I want Republican politicians who are fundamentally different from the ones we keep electing. I want a Republican Party that is known not merely as an election machine, but as a force for building a better society and a better government. I want a political shift that changes not only who wins elections, but what kind of country those victories help create. At the risk of being misunderstood, what I am posing is nothing less than a peaceful political revolution. Not violent, not chaotic, but transformative. And yes, transformative change is often disruptive. Having said that, I intend to show you how sound arguments and logical plans on how these changes will result in a Republican renaissance that will give us victory. I only ask that you carefully consider my proposals and evaluate for yourself if they can succeed where our past efforts have failed. Efforts like the Tea Party. I'm counting on common sense and logic to overcome the resistance to change. So I love it. There's another one in here. There's another section in here where he talks about the fact that we've already lost, right? We are already living in a socialist country. And the problem is Republicans are in denial of that. We're in denial of it. Hey, who prints our money? The central bank. The central what? The Federal Reserve. The only thing federal about it is the name, right? It's a central bank. So if the definition of communism is a central control of the economy,
we're there.
We're already there, and we've been there for 100+ years.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about him. Is he aligned with the precinct strategy?
Okay, so the precinct strategy is putting butts in seats. The precinct strategy is getting people to show up. But what's happened is a lot of people show up, they show up for a few months, they don't feel like there's anything to do, and they cycle out. So the precinct strategy is excellent, putting the emphasis on putting butts in seats. That's where we start. But once we have butts in seats, what he proposes is now we have to unify at the grassroots level. When you go to your county meeting and there's other precinct committee officers or other members in the audience, that's your chance to talk to them. That's your chance to provide some type of influence and leadership and coalesce around this message of a political remodel. In the document, he goes on to talk about a contract with the politicians. When they go make campaign promises, they sign a contract with the whole audience. And you'd literally go sign the contract. You have a copy of it. When they go to the next rally and they add a couple more promises, they add it to the contract, and then those people sign on to it.
Interesting. Okay.
And because it's all written down, you can't do the Hillary Clinton thing where I have one thing for the people in private, one thing for the people in public. It's a written contract. And that's what we hold them to. Listen, you're not going to run for politics unless you've got some narcissism in you. Okay. We're going to be disappointed by the private lives of our leaders, and we always have been. There has never been a moment in American history or in British history or in Roman history where politicians and senators and parliamentarians and House of Representatives members did not disappoint us in their personal life.
Look, narcissism gets a bad name when it's narcissistic personality disorder on, the cusp of sociopathology. Okay. It's just like codependency. Every healthy marriage has a healthy amount of codependency. Good politicians have a healthy amount of narcissism. Trump, I don't think he has narcissistic personality disorder. I think he's healthy narcissist, whether you agree with his ideas or not. That is not necessarily evil, wrong, right? There is a tipping point for some people who go down that road. But what you're putting forth right now is fantastically important to digest, and that is discussing inequity, man to man, woman, what these ideologies are from these people who are looking to be elected, right?
Yes.
That is so important that they hold those principles, morals, and values to get the self-governance back, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, the thing is what we're basically saying is separate the reality star, the famous person part of out of politics. Yeah, get a good looking person, make sure they can give a good stump speech. Absolutely, right? They've got to have some desire to stand up on the stage.
Charisma, presence, yeah.
But they're all actors. They are representing the people in their constituency.
Right.
What they need to do is they need to have a contract and a written agreement with their constituency. I will vote for you. I don't care how much money comes in, how many radio ads I have to listen to or TV ads. I signed an agreement with you that you would do this, 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 and this. And it is on there. It is published. There's a copy out there. You know what I mean? And that way, when you go to vote for them, you're like, this is what I'm voting for. I'm not voting for you because you're a smooth talker. I'm not voting for you because I like the way you look.
It's amazing to me. In California, for example, we've got this gubernatorial, election. It's fantastically important. Swalwell is out of the race. We've got Steve Hilton and this sheriff down in Riverside, what's his name?
I know. Yeah.
Bianco, I think. He's a constitutional sheriff, right? And all the influencers are saying to go with the sheriff. So I'm telling my husband this, and my husband's like, do you know that he is saying that all the illegals need a path to citizenship? I'm like, shut up. That's not even possible. No way would all these people be getting on that train. Well, sure enough, he's sending me all this stuff, and he is. So then you see that Trump supports, there's a reason why I'm getting into all this. There's a reason why Trump supports Hilton. Steve Hilton is not banging that drum. So where are the contracts for these guys, right?
Exactly.
Where is their platform?
Exactly. They don't want to advertise it
They don't publish it.
This is one of the things that Trump did was so unique. He was like, a promise is made, promises kept.
Yes, and he published it.
These are the things I'm going to accomplish, right?
And it's still on whitehouse.com.
Yes. And so that concept, right? But here's the thing. This political remodel, it's one thing to get excited for the gubernatorial election. That should be the weakest person in politics.
Right.
The president should be the weakest person.
Right.
But we put them up and we get excited for it because that's our grand champion. No. We're talking about county council, city council, the water district. We're talking about your elected dog catcher. Whatever they want, we're not just going to run on hope and change. No. What are you going to do? Where are you going to be a stick in the mud? Matters of fashion, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock, right? So we want them every position. And the thing is it's totally winnable. You can win a county council seat. I don't care how rigged the elections are. If you have real people show up to vote at the county level for the county council, you can win that seat. And in like my county, there's 3 of them. We have to win 2. That's all. We have to win 2, and now we can do everything we need to do, and they will have a contract. They will have a contract. We'll say, this is what you're going to vote. This is what's going on the agenda.
So what you're saying is still show up, whatever party you want to be aligned with, Republican, Democrat, show up at the assembly meetings, not at the county.
Assembly, nothing. Assembly is a third party. That is an alternative government program. Show up at your local Republican Party meeting. Where I live, it's called KCRP, Kitsap County Republican Party. Show up at the LA GOP or the LAR, right? Show up at the Republican Party. If you are a Democrat and you understand how that platform should be, go for it. Go make a difference, right? But I think for our audience, primarily, it's going to be Republican oriented. It is the low hanging fruit.
Okay,
It is
so for those
easy.
people who were doing or following Steve Stern, and they're in California, I got in touch with the people who are leading California. They're pushing us to the Republican Assembly and to go to those meetings.
Is the Republican Assembly the Republican Party, or is it a separate thing?
I think it's a separate thing.
Okay, that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. If that's the case, I would want to clarify that. But there are two parties in America that have any worth: the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. And if you're going to Republican Party 2.1, an assembly meeting instead of going to your actual meeting, you're missing the mark, in my opinion. I can't imagine Steve Stern. They might name it the Assembly. Maybe that's the name, but it should be the mainframe Republican Party, like the ones that endorse the candidate and say you can put an R behind your name.
I
Right?
don't know about that. I mean, it's San Fernando Valley Republican Assembly.
They could call it that. I know in Iowa they call it caucuses. So maybe
Okay,
that
I'll
name
look
is
into
different.
that.
Yeah, maybe that name is different. I can't imagine he would be funneling you into a subsection of the Republican Party. You need to go to the ones that have the power, the clout, right? And that's
And then I said to him, okay, because I'm thinking precinct strategy, fill the seats, like you said.
yeah.
So I said, are there any precinct seats in the county that you're looking to fill? And he said, in LA County, it's a unique county which presents unique challenges when filling precinct vacancies. The county is organized by assembly districts rather.
Okay, so you probably, because it's such a big county, they have it broken up into little counties. It doesn't matter. Go figure it out. It's your backyard. Go figure it out.
Working
right?
it. Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody should take that same attitude. You cannot be discouraged by this. Listen, the Revolutionary War took 8 years. My great 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 grandpa, William Allred Sr., was 43 years old. He left his farm, he took his horse, and he went and joined the South Carolina Cavalry Militia. Okay? It took incredible sacrifice for him to do that. And all that you have to do is show up at your local county meeting once a month. All you have to do is a couple times a year go knock doors. Here's the thing about the precinct committee officer. It's your neighborhood.
Right.
It's people that you go to block parties with. Once you go knock their doors and you're the guy and you got their cell phone number and they got your cell phone number, when it comes for election season, they're going to text you and go, who am I voting for?
Right.
You're the point of contact, right? While they're off watching football games and baseball games, they know you're the man. They can ignore all the TV ads and everything because you, by yourself, in your neighborhood, these precincts are small. They're small. You could door knock them in a Saturday. My county has like 260 of them. We're not a huge county. Like, these are small precincts. Once you go get that email list, once you go get those contacts, you're it. And you just say, listen, here's the contract from this politician. We've endorsed them. This is what they say they're going to do. And if they don't do it, I will raise hell on your behalf. So
Nice.
sign it. Promise me your vote. Make sure you get your ballot in, mail it in, walk it in, whatever you got to do. There's efforts being made to protect the vote. And listen, I'm like all in on the ballot fraud being a mess. I went to prison over this nonsense, right? But you know what? There wasn't a grassroots real support. Trump, top down as a reality TV star, could get people motivated to vote. But you know what's more motivating? Your neighbor. That's more motivating. There's accountability there. If they have a contract with the politicians, they're like, I might not even vote for anyone else on the ballot, but I'm voting for this guy for water district because I want the water system fixed. I'm voting for this guy for port commissioner. I'm voting for this guy for county council and this guy for city council. And this school district spot too. This person on the school district said they would turn down federal funds in order to make sure that it's we the people by the people for the school district instead of, oh, well, the state gave us money, so we have to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. You know what I mean? Because that's what's happening is they're on the dole with the money. They have to be willing to say no. And I'll tell you what, people would be way more prone to pass a school board levy tax if they knew there wasn't state money coming, forcing their kids to read My Two Dads and Me book. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so the contracts, taking that over and then a culture around that of accountability. Listen, we have a contract. You're up for reelection. These are all short cycles, 2 years, 4 years at the most, for the most part. Rarely, I think the senator's 6. I think that's the longest election, that you can be elected for. These are short cycles. If they break accountability, now the PCOs are like, I'm not endorsing you. I don't care if you say you're Republican. I don't care if you're good on the stump. I don't care how many babies you kissed. My neighborhood's not voting for you. And you connect a couple neighborhoods together, and all of a sudden you have a county commissioner spot that you and 4 or 5 guys are able to control, and you do it through that contract, through that agreement. It's super powerful.
Well, thank you. This is really inspiring.
I got one more. Video I want to watch from Clarence Thomas. So this just goes along with the fact that you can't give up.
Give me liberty or give me death. That devotion has driven the great achievements and heroism of Americans in the 250 years since. Think of the frontiersmen who settled the West. Think of the families who built their little towns on the prairies. Think of the women who raised their children to love God and country and sent them off to fight wars. It is a devotion expressed in the final sentence of the Declaration, the willingness to do anything for our principles that has throughout American history been most indispensable. It is that devotion that we are missing today and that we must find in our hearts if this nation is to endure.
Supreme Court Justice.
We have to find it in our hearts. I talk to people through the January 6th experience. Man, if the revolution ever happened, I'd definitely show up with my guns. But you won't show up at a county meeting once a month? Right? You're gonna wait for it to get that bad? I got news for you. By the time it gets that bad, you won't have any guns to show up with.
No, yeah, I agree.
A lot of people, my line in the sand is when they come up my driveway to take my guns. Bro, if they're coming up your driveway and they take your guns, they've already taken your money. They've taken, you know what I mean? They've already taken everything from you.
Yeah, no, that's too far down the runway. And I can't believe that people are not activated, because when I watched Bannon's, did you watch that documentary?
Yeah.
It was like the midterms all over again. And we're watching Trump do this incredible Middle East, Venezuela takedown. Like literally, it's incredible. It's powerful. It can change the entire economic, talk about an economic reset, but not Klaus Schwab's way, Trump's way. Like it's huge. The stakes are so high.
But if we don't take our country back, we hand over to the next progressive those tools. We hand over to the next progressive that economic platform. You know what communists love? They love it when there's a little shakeup and there's some economic, this is what Biden did. He took Trump's good economy and was like, great, now we can spend even more, right? We have to be so careful. We're going to live in a world with tariffs and income tax and wealth tax. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to take the counties back. And it's not hard. It's not hard. In my county, it would take 15 or 20 dedicated PCOs, and we could then run.
And what's a PCO?
Precinct committee officer. That's your neighborhood. You're in charge of your neighborhood. 15 or 20 of them. Like we had endorsements last week, candidates running for all these different offices. There's 30 people in the room. 30 people. You only need 50% plus one to vote someone out of their committee seat or whatever in the Republican Party. So it's like it doesn't take a lot, but you've got to organize, and then it creates a culture. And once you have the culture, then all of a sudden that becomes the thing. And you'll find the candidates will show up if they think they can win.
Yes, that was what happened at the meeting. The meeting I went to, I had no idea there were going to be so many candidates. That's who showed up. That's what the whole meeting was, them pitching.
Yep. And it's so funny because they'll be pitching, and then the people there'll be 6 people that are endorsing them that aren't running. And it's like, yeah, I know. You've got to get involved. The apathy, right? To just give someone your car and just let them take it and never check up on it. That's what we do. Yeah. And and again, it's really great to talk about the national midterms and the gubernatorial races, but where it really matters is your county council and your city councils and your school boards. right? That is where it touches your life way more than anything else. And if you can take a county back, and the county next to yours takes their county back, and the county next to them takes, next thing you know, state's not a problem. Not a problem. Federal government, not a problem. If enough states take themselves back, not a problem. It's 50% plus one, right? It's not like we have to change everything, but you can change it. People will ignore mainstream media. People are completely self-absorbed in their lives, as they should be. But for the people that are activated and are involved, you should have a relationship with them. So you're the guy they go to. Just like everybody's got a realtor friend. If I have a realtor thing, I refer my friend and they take care of it. If I need a handyman, I usually call the realtor because they have a handyman. Yep. You should be that referral source in your local precinct, and again, our system is so precious, it deserves to be preserved. We fight the wrong fight. We don't recognize that we've already lost the battle. We're already living in an American socialist country. We already have a centralized economy, but all that can change. Some of it's changing right before our eyes. But like I remember Trump said in his first term, he said, we've planted the seeds, but now we have to stick around to make sure the tree grows, right? He's planting seeds, but we have to stick around to make sure the tree grows. We have to stick around to make sure that the politicians that get into any seat have a contract with us that they'll keep watering those good policies and that they'll change the ones, that they don't just run on rage and we're going to change things and then never do. And then the next cycle, we're going to change things. No, give me a contract. Let me hold you accountable to it. So if you want that document, it's an 80-page document. It's wonderful. We would love to seed this all around the country and offer support in any way we can. I am not a doomer. I do not believe that we are powerless. I don't want to make everything just based on rage, right? We have real-world solutions at 1776live.us, real-world solutions to credit card debt, IRS debt, passing family wealth, and creating wealth. You want to get out of the rut you're in? Do something different. Go check out 1776live.us. Don't forget to join us in Spokane, April 25th. But also, politically, you have the power. Clarence Thomas said it best. This is our country. It's by consent. They wouldn't do it if you didn't acquiesce. Stop acquiescing. It starts by showing up. Go get involved in your county. If you want a copy of this document, you can email me at taylor@1776live.us. That's TAYLOR at 1776LIVE live.us. And it might take me a day or two to get it back to you, but I will get it back to you. So if you're interested in that, please send me an email there and I will forward that document onto you. It is a great document. And of course, go put it into practice. Go share it with the other people that are involved. Go find your neighbors and stuff. Say, let's just go do it. Let's commit to go do it for 2 years. In 2 years, you can make a big difference. In the beginning, you'll be disenfranchised. You won't know what's going on. What am I even here to do? But eventually you'll figure it out. And if enough people go and stick around and figure it out, you can take your county back. And it might mean taking your party back first, and then you can make a difference in the elections. Take it in steps. The big picture here is a future for our children. That's the big picture. We didn't lose our country overnight. We lost it in increments over time with apathy. In many ways, we've become a victim of our own success. But if you want to make a difference, you have to get engaged. Just like my great-great-grandfather. He left his farm, took his horse, and went and joined the cavalry, South Carolina Cavalry Militia, and he fought for 8 years. You should be willing to fight at your local county level as long as it takes. Don't give up and, have that spirit. It's easy to it's not easy, but we believe in our principles so much, we'll send our sons and daughters to fight overseas for all those reasons. And we're disappointed when the reasons aren't real. Well, are you motivated enough to at least go to a meeting once a month? And then you wouldn't have to send your sons and daughters to fight for nonsense.
Yeah,
really believe in those principles. We got to act them out. Okay. We've reached our time. This was great.
Yes. I'm so happy the way the universe works that he walked into your life and picked you to help disseminate. Am I saying that right?
That's the right word.
Get this message out. You are the perfect person to do this.
Force multipliers.
Network effect.
We need everybody. We're working diligently in our county, and I want you to work diligently in your county. If not you, then who?
That's right.
Who's going to do it?
And come and tell us how you're doing. Next
Yeah.
week we won't be here, but the week after, let's see how much progress there has been. Thank you so much, Taylor. I'm so inspired.
All right. This was awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. I don't think I have the outro on here. That's okay. Well, if you want the outro, you got to go listen on Rumble, and it's fun. little Monty Python.
And tomorrow
All right, guys, that's
morning you'll be here at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Peasants Perspective every weekday. Okay.
Every weekday. Yep. All right. We'll see you guys.